everyone, my name is Millie and welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. So, for those of you that don't know who I am a current student on a foundation course at a UK drama school, and I make videos about drama school and my personal experiences and things like that. So if you're interested, then please do subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about kind of like reflecting on my past half term, the last half term that I've had at drama school. The last that kind of makes it sound like it's the end of my course. It's not the end of my course. So from like December, like end of the Christmas holidays to February half term. So it was a 6-week term. I did make my last reflection video on a week into the term, but we're gonna I can't remember the exact timings of when we were learning things and when I was feeling in a certain way, etc. So we're just gonna run through, and I've made notes in my notebook of things I want to talk about. So yeah, let's get started. So I've divided it into dance, singing, acting, and then a couple of other extra bits. So I'm going to start with dance. The first thing that I've kind of learned or something is that I can actually do more than I think I can do. Now, this is going to take a little bit of explanation, so bear with. So I've developed this mentality with dance of it doesn't matter if I get it wrong, as long as I'm trying. I know I'm not going to pick up all the steps because my pickup speed isn't great, so I'll just do what I can. Now, I still think that's a really good mentality to have. I think a lot of people can get hung up on all the details and feel like if they don't get one step right, then they're a complete failure and the whole dance was useless, which totally isn't true. And I'm not advocating that mentality. But what I found was I almost was putting myself down. I was kind of saying to myself, okay, I know I'm not going to get all these steps, so I won't worry as much about that section so I can get the next section. But this time, I've kind of realised or had pointed out to me that I can do more than I think I can do. And sometimes where I'm saying, oh, it's okay, I just won't worry about that section, I could actually worry about that section and get that section. But I still think it's okay if I don't get a step. So before I was like, it's okay if I don't get a step and I don't think I'm going to get the step. But now I'm like, it's okay if I don't get the step, but I think I can get the step. That's the clearest way I think I can put it. So yeah, that's a big thing that's kind of I've learnt, and I'm still trying to apply that mentality in all my classes now, but that's something I've kind of realised. Second point is kind of related. My picking up of choreo has got a lot better, I think, and I'm really pleased with this. Before I would not get a whole routine that we were doing or a whole section of a routine that we were doing in jazz, whereas now I can pretty much remember a whole routine, so I'm quite pleased with that. Also in tap and in contemporary, I've been able to remember a lot more than I think I would. Ballet is kind of different because we're generally doing exercises, although we're generally doing exercises in contemporary. But yeah, I've just been able to remember a lot more, and so I'm pleased with how that is progressing. My final thing for dance is that I've been trying to work on my performance for at least part of this half term, like performance. We're still wearing masks at the moment because of COVID, but even under my mask, like I'm trying to smile during an exercise, and it's a slow process because when I'm focusing on the technique and the steps and everything else, it's like the face just goes blank. But I'm trying to work on that, so that's something I'll probably carry on doing into next term. Okay, I'm going to move on to singing now. So over the Christmas holidays, I had a little look for new rap and things, and I found this song, which I'm now doing for some of my auditions, and I really like the song. But I thought I was going to have to belt it, and I was like, yeah, I want to learn to belt properly because I've realised one of the things I've realised is singing shouldn't hurt. If you're doing it correctly, it shouldn't hurt. And so the times where I've been pushing and it has been not like, oh no, it's really bad, but like it hurts at the end of the song, like my voice is sore, I've realised that that's not a good indication that I'm doing it correctly. So that's one thing I've realised. But then with this song that I thought I was going to have to belt, I took it to a singing teacher and he said that I didn't need to belt it. He suggested I didn't belt it because it's fairly high in places and I can't belt that high. And he didn't seem to think that there was a problem with that. And that was kind of like a, oh, okay, moment for me, because I was like, I'm going to have to belt in this auditions and I can't belt properly at certain ranges, etc., etc., etc. But I don't have to belt in an audition. And that's like quite quite relieving. I don't know. It gives me relief. Anyway, because you don't have to be able to belt to be able to sing. Yeah, it's something I want to learn to do, and maybe next year or in a couple of terms couple of half terms, that'll be something that I can learn the technique of and doing it correctly. But I don't need to rush into it to be ready for auditions, which is good. So that is a very positive thing with singing. The next point is kind of linked between acting and singing. It's in our ATS lessons. I just felt like I'd made quite good progress with ATS. Yeah, well, one of the songs, there's like lots of questions in it, and the acting through song teacher was like, actually ask the questions. I was like, oh yeah, of course, because I'm asking questions, so I must be actually asking the questions. And I think before I'd just kind of been floating along with the melodies, and like that was all very nice, but for this particular song I was asking questions, so why wasn't I asking questions? And now it's like, I think when I tackle other songs, I'll think more like, oh, is there a question in this? Should I actually be asking someone this? Am I asking myself? Like, I don't know, just thinking more about the songs rather than just doing them. Also, we had a singing mock audition. This isn't in my notebook, but I remembered it. And I didn't get a comment, which I've had before twice, that I sounded nervous. And I'm really pleased about that because, yeah, I'd tried a new technique for like managing nerves. Because the thing is, right, I'm going off on a tangent now. This is what happens when I don't write things down in my notebook. I just kind of ramble. But yeah, anyway, in the previous singing mocks, I hadn't felt like I was nervous, but apparently I sounded nervous, and I'm sure I did sound nervous because the teacher's very good and can hear things like that. But yeah, so I was like, well, how do I get rid of that? And I spoke to my singing teacher about it, and he gave me this technique, and I tried it, and I didn't sound nervous. So that is really good because, again, auditions, I don't want nerves to get in the way of my performance. So I'm pleased with that. That was something I'm, yeah, quite happy with. Okay, now we will move on to acting. And I do have notes again, so hopefully I won't be rambling. So in acting, I've been working on my Shakespeare monologue for my auditions, and I'm quite pleased with how that has been going. Yeah, Shakespeare can come across as quite difficult. I mean, I'm fairly confident with reading Shakespeare. Like when we studied it at GCSE and stuff, I didn't have major problems with it. I understood most of what was going on after researching into it and things. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how that was going because I felt like I'd managed to get good acting into my contemporary before Christmas. But I felt like with Shakespeare, I might be just acting the words. I don't know. It didn't feel like it would be as easy because it's not how I would normally speak in my day-to-day life. But it's been going quite well, so I'm pleased with that. And saying that, I have not let my contemporary slip, but because I was focusing on my Shakespeare, my contemporary monologue became almost a bit stale when I was doing it. It was like it was too rehearsed in places. I'd lost some of the spontaneity, and it was like, oh, I'm acting like this at this point rather than the character is like this at this point, so that is what I'm portraying. But I worked on that in my last lesson in acting, so hopefully that should be getting better now, which is good. The next thing with acting is kind of, it is acting, but we have this lesson called voice, which is like spoken voice, so it's to do with acting rather than singing. And we've started working on character voices, sight reading, and like commercials, advertising, like voiceover type things. And so sight reading, first of all, is something that I thought would be like fine. You're just reading a bit of paper and like reading it out. But the way we have to do it is actually a bit more challenging than that. But I've been really enjoying it. So yeah, that's been good. And character voices, I've actually found quite difficult. I'm not sure why. The text we were doing had like 4 different voices, and 2 of them sounded different, but 2 of them sounded pretty much the same. So that's something I need to work on. That's actually a bit of my homework for this half term. So I plan to do that at some point. I've been enjoying character voices, but I'm finding it more challenging than I thought I would do. I think they're really good skills that I'd like to develop as well. So I'm glad we get to do some of that on our course. Okay, now this is like an overall point. And it's kind of me not realizing this because I did know, but starting to maybe try and apply it a bit more. That I need to combine feedback from across my classes. So for example, we're doing acting, and I need to act through song, but I also need to act through dance. So that's like the performance element of dance. I think we started talking about musicality with one of the teachers and how to like interpret music in jazz. But then I can also apply that knowledge to ballet or contemporary and think about what that music makes me feel. And it's something that I'm not doing all the time, but it's something that I'm more aware that I need to be doing, is thinking about feedback from other classes and how to apply it to the class I'm in. And my final thing is more of a personal experience, and that is that I've started going to community. Now, community is like, so it's attached to the church that I'm going to whilst I'm at Bird, and it's like a group of people, students in this case, who just got meet and discuss like Bible related questions, talk about their faith and things like that. And it's, yeah, I've only been to one session for various reasons, but I've really enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to going again. So that's a personal step for me. And it kind of felt like it would be scary because it's like going to someone's house with people that, yeah, I know them from church, but I didn't know who everyone would be there. But it was a really nice atmosphere, and I would highly recommend seeking out your local church and their local youth groups, or not youth, like student groups or whatever, if you're a student at college. And that is everything I have to say for my reflection into what I've learned, what I've discovered, realised, improved on in during this time from like January to February half term at Bird College. Did I mention I'm at Bird? I'm at Bird. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do give it a like to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss my future videos. And thank you very much for watching. Bye!